Welcome back. We are here with another episode of PaynePoints of Interest. I am Sarah Harbuck, and with me is Mike Payne. And today we're going to be discussing a Reddit question from user LegitimateBids7. It says, I suck at marketing. I'm great at software engineering and graphic design. Can I realistically find someone social who can talk to people for me? It says indications of my talent: multiple competitive awards, great university degrees, great portfolios, also highly profitable projects where I handled back-end, front-end, and online marketing efforts. But talking to people is not my strong suit. It makes me anxious. Can I realistically find someone social who can talk to people for me? Would be great to find someone to partner per project. Any suggestions on how to find this person? P.S. I've had a corporate partner in the past, and I swore I would never do that again. So I'm thinking partnering for projects and splitting earnings. I imagine this can be real hard for anybody who's more introverted and technically minded than you'd think. What advice do you have? Because you are a software engineer, and sometimes you do have trouble talking to people.
This particular question really hits home for me. I don't have a ton of, awards. But that's really neither here nor there. The simple answer to this question is yes. I see no reason why you could not realistically find someone social who can talk to people for you.
Yeah. I don't really think this is a marketing problem. I think this is more of a networking, social interaction issue where you have someone who does not enjoy that part of business.
Yeah.
You almost need a more extroverted, vocal face of the business.
Well, and it's not even necessarily like, listen, I don't particularly enjoy talking to a lot of people either. But that being said, what I can do, where my strong suit is, that people tend to have confidence in what I say because I back it up with what I do. And so what I look for is somebody who can balance out my optimism with a more realistic perspective on those I'm talking to. Because, I can be optimistic, but also really not sure of myself at the same time. Mm-hmm. And so I need someone there who's going to stop me from, beating the proverbial dead horse. Because the client has already said yes.
Right.
And I'm going,
you're almost trying to talk yourself out of the job.
So that's the first thing I do is I try to find a good way to recognize where my weaknesses in communication actually are. What I don't think you're going to be able to do unless you find the exact right person who is both technical and a talker, who also knows who you are and what you want to do really, really well. Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't think you're going to find someone who can replace you in that role completely as a leader.
Yeah.
Okay. I also do understand the corporate partner aversion.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't need a partner, and anybody who is trying to say listen, if you're considering a partner, it's because you're considering not paying this person. That's really what it boils down to, right? Most people aren't going to go. If you turn around to someone and go, listen, you're good at this, you talk to me, how much is it going to cost me to have you do this for me? They're going to give you a number. Mm-hmm. You pay them that number, you negotiate that number, or you don't. You don't have to give up any control. And that's the hardest lesson to learn is you don't have to give up control. Listen, you can go out there and pay somebody. You can score a $250,000 contract and say, I'll pay you 10% of the value of this contract. They just made $25,000 for closing the contract, right? Yeah. They need that, 3 or 4 times a year, right? Man, a person who's good at talking is not gonna be difficult to do that if you're good. So you don't need a co-founder or a corporate partner, but if you do go the route of getting a partner to do it, Be prepared to share in both the gains and the losses. Be prepared to have hard conversations. Partnerships are difficult. They're always going to be difficult. Period. End of subject. Okay. That doesn't mean that if you find somebody who is actually able to successfully do what you want to do and you're paying them, that you should not treat them as much like a partner as possible.
Right.
That give them bonuses, give them more.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing for me because I've never really had a problem talking to people. So I'm always I always find it fascinating when people are like, I don't like talking to other people. It makes me anxious. I mean, I could probably talk to a wall. Right. So it's always fun to think of this from the other side of it, and how for some people if they are very technically minded and they're very in their head, how that affects their social interaction and running a business. And I feel like you can find a person out there that fits in there with that need that you might have. This person doesn't really get into specifics about what they need this person to talk to other people for. Is it for selling a job? Is it to market their company? Is it to close the deal on contracts? I think you have to think about what you would use this person for and how you would utilize them, and be a little more. Maybe this person has a clear picture; they just didn't share it in their question. But I think that it really is hard to run a business by yourself when you have a certain skill set and you're weak in other things. And finding those people who fill in those gaps that you have, that have those strengths, is always going to be, I think, beneficial rather than detrimental.
And you absolutely have to define the role as narrowly as possible.
Yeah.
People don't. In general, there are sets of people who work really well in a fluid environment. There are sets of people who work really well in a structured environment. And I'm going to tell you that even the people who work well in a fluid environment need a little bit of structure. They need to know what their role is, what their place is, what's expected of them, and what they should expect from you in return.
Yeah.
And that is the first thing to delegating is defining the roles, and defining the role for someone you need, and going from there.
Yeah, definitely. Clearly laying out and clarifying any things you need is always the way to go. Clear communication will save you a lot of headache later on. So if you guys have any questions or added thoughts to this topic for today, hit us up on our social media, Facebook and LinkedIn at PaynePoints, Instagram at Payne.points, and Twitter at PointsPayne. You can also find us on our website. So join the conversation, tell us what you think, and we'll be back tomorrow with a completely different topic.